Good evening, and welcome to your AI Daily Press Evening Podcast for September 9, 2025. Good evening, I'm Walter, and welcome to tonight's edition of the AI Daily Press Evening Podcast. Here's a brief summary of our top now for the latest in social and cultural news. Here is Barbara Waters.
You, Walter, and Nanshul and know it's right now. I'm Barbara, your anchor for tonight's edition. We're bringing you a roundup of the day's top stories. Firstly, we've been following developments in international relations as Chinese President Xi Jinping has extended an olive branch to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. This gesture comes on the heels of Kim's recent visit to Beijing and marks a significant development in regional diplomacy. Meanwhile, North Korea has announced a breakthrough in its missile technology with the successful test of a new solid-fuel missile engine. In other news, we've been covering the Labour Party's search for a new deputy leader following Angela Rayner's resignation earlier this week. Nominations are now open, and several candidates have thrown their hats into the ring. The contest is expected to be closely watched, with many seeing it as a test of the party's direction under Keir Starmer's leadership. Additionally, we've been reporting on protests in Nepal, where thousands of young citizens are taking to the streets to demand action on corruption, unemployment, and nepotism. This movement, driven by the country's Gen Z population, has been described as a watershed moment for the nation. Finally, we've also been following the EU's proposed sanctions against Russia, with many questioning their potential effectiveness. We want to hear from you. Do you think these sanctions will achieve their intended goals, or will they have unintended consequences? Share your thoughts with us on social media using the hashtag AIDailyPress. That's all for tonight's podcast. Thank you for joining us on the AI Daily Press. Until next time, I'm Barbara, and we'll be back tomorrow with more news and analysis. Good night. Now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. Firstly, emerging markets have had a stellar year so far, driven by a weaker US dollar, steady macro backdrop, and mega forces. However, selectivity across countries and sectors is crucial, and concentrated, conviction-weighted portfolios are the way to go. We recommend taking a long-term perspective and avoiding extreme positions. Secondly, in the world of high-frequency trading, Nebius Group NV has secured a significant deal with Microsoft to provide dedicated capacity from its new data center in New Jersey. This highlights the growing importance of AI infrastructure and Nebius's strategic positioning within this sector. Lastly, on the regulatory front, the Securities and Exchange Board of India's investigation into Jane Street is broader than initially anticipated. The SEBI is taking a meticulous approach, emphasizing the gravity and complexity of the case. As we always say, don't panic and remember that the more things change, the more they stay the same. Stay level-headed, focus on fundamental analysis, and keep a long-term perspective. That's all for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Daily Press Evening Podcast. Until next time, goodbye. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, we explored the discovery of a quasi-satellite orbiting Earth, which has been temporarily captured by our planet's gravity. This rare phenomenon offers scientists a unique opportunity to study the dynamics of celestial bodies in our solar system. Secondly, we delved into the latest research on Enceladus, one of Saturn's moons, where NASA's Cassini spacecraft detected complex organic molecules in its plumes. However, new studies suggest that these molecules might not necessarily be of biological origin, but rather the result of chemical reactions driven by radiation on the moon's icy surface. Lastly, we journeyed to the TRAPPIST-1 system, a remarkable collection of 7 Earth-sized planets orbiting a small, cool star about 39 light-years away. The James Webb Space Telescope has been studying the atmospheres of these planets, and early results suggest that one of the planets, TRAPPIST-1e, may have lost its original atmosphere due to intense radiation from its host star. These stories remind us of the awe-inspiring complexity of our universe and the ongoing journey to unravel its secrets. The search for life beyond Earth is a profound quest that requires patience, dedication, and a willingness to challenge our assumptions. Thank you for joining me on this evening's podcast. Until next time, keep looking up at those stars and wondering about the secrets they hold. Good night. Now for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Howard, your host for the AIDailyPress evening podcast. Over the past few days, we've brought you updates from various sports leagues. In the world of baseball, the Texas Rangers are closing in on the Houston Astros in the American League West, while the Cleveland Guardians have made significant strides in the AL wildcard race. In women's soccer, Chelsea FC continues to dominate the Women's Super League, with Arsenal and Everton also showcasing impressive performances. The U.S. women's national team contingent has made headlines, with notable achievements from Kat Macario and Fallon Tullis-Joyce. Domestically, the Chicago Red Stars are on an unbeaten streak in the National Women's Soccer League, thanks to outstanding contributions from Alyssa Naher and Ludmila. Furthermore, we've seen a new generation of talent emerge, with 15-year-old KK Ream and 14-year-old Rhea Moore making history as the youngest goal scorers in the NWSL. And, of course, we celebrated Sue Bird's induction into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, where she shared a humorous anecdote about her brief foray into soccer. That's all for this evening's summary. We'll continue to bring you the latest news and updates from the world of sports. Until next time, thank you for joining us on the AI Daily Press. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curl.
Thank you, Howard. Tonight, we're bringing you a brief summary of our top stories. Firstly, we reported on the proposed changes to environmental regulations in the United States, which could have significant implications for conservation efforts and wildlife protection. We also explored the potential consequences of these changes on local ecosystems and communities. Next, we took a journey through European history with the story of the Bourbon coat of arms, a symbol of one of the most influential dynasties in European history. We discovered how this artifact, located in the Anne de Beaujeu Museum in Moulins, France, represents the values of tradition, craftsmanship, and community that have shaped human endeavor. Finally, we brought you a dramatic rescue story from County Donegal in Ireland, where two fishermen were swept into the sea by a powerful wave. Thanks to the quick thinking and bravery of locals, as well as the coordinated efforts of emergency services, both men were rescued and are receiving medical attention. These stories remind us of the importance of preserving our cultural heritage, the power of community spirit, and the dangers faced by those who make their living from the sea. We invite you to reflect on these themes and join us again soon for more in-depth reporting and analysis. Until next time, good night from the AI Daily Press. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. First up, Charlie Sheen's explosive new memoir. The Book of Sheen is making waves with its candid accounts of his struggles with addiction, HIV diagnosis, and extortion attempts. The accompanying Netflix documentary, Aka Charlie Sheen, promises to deliver even more unflinching insights into the life of this Hollywood icon. Next, we're shining the spotlight on Alo Yoga's bold foray into luxury handbags. With prices ranging from $1,000 to $3,000, these limited edition bags are sure to spark debate among fashion enthusiasts. Will this move pay off for the popular yoga apparel brand, or will it alienate potential customers? And finally, we're still buzzing about the stunning looks from the recent red carpet events, including the show-stopping appearance of Sabrina Carpenter at the MTV VMAs. Her style choices have been making headlines all week, and we can't get enough of her fearless fashion sense. That's all for tonight, folks. Stay informed, stay stylish, and keep on reading. This is Joan, your anchor, signing off. Until next time, good night and goodbye. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David to Nature.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, our environment is facing numerous challenges, including the decline of certain bird species due to climate change. For instance, the salt marsh sparrow population has been drastically declining due to rising sea levels, with only about 20,000 birds left globally. A dedicated group of citizen scientists in Rhode Island, led by Deirdre Robinson, is working tirelessly to design and deploy a low-cost ark to raise the sparrow nests to safety. Secondly, an invasive species of tick known as the Asian longhorned tick has been spotted for the first time in Maine, marking its farthest northeast sighting in the United States. This development has significant implications for public health, livestock, and the ecosystem at large. Experts advise checking your body and clothes after spending time outdoors, removing any attached ticks immediately, and using insect repellents registered with the EPA. Lastly, Britain's environment is also facing numerous challenges, including the decline of certain bird species due to climate change. For example, a recent study found that the British bird population has been declining drastically over the years, with many species facing extinction due to habitat loss and climate change. These stories serve as a poignant reminder of the urgent need for climate action and conservation efforts. As we navigate these complex issues, it's essential to remain informed and take proactive steps to minimize the impact of invasive species and climate change on our environment and public health. We'll continue to monitor these stories and provide updates as more information becomes available. That's all for tonight's special report. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon on the AI Daily Press. Remember, awareness is key in addressing the challenges posed by climate change and invasive species. Until next time, stay informed, and let's work together to protect our planet's delicate ecosystem. Good night, and that completes our evening podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until tomorrow morning, I'm David Atanacher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.